Hello, BookTube. It's Friday, and that means Friday reads. When I finally get to sit back and relax after a grueling week at the box factory. I have some books that I want to show you. I'm not sure that I'll get to all of these on the weekend. Some of them, yes, but you never know. A lot of these are coming down the pike further on. They're just newish books that I thought might interest you, and I will dip my toe in and just see if any one of them, or if maybe, God forbid, all of them, hold my toe. That's the thing when you dip your toe in. If the book won't let you go, then I'll just read it. I'll read it now. The first one is a murder mystery. It's the second in the series, but I don't think I read the first one. This is a Detective Inspector Redfire investigation by Barbara Cleverly, and it's called Invitation to Die. And it takes place in Cambridge, England, immediately after World War I, in that idyllic long summer between World War I and World War II. And it stars a former rifleman from World War I. And this author did, let's see here. Yes, the Joe Sandilands investigation, the first of which was The Last Kashmiri Rose, which I really liked. I think I missed the first volume in this series, which was what was the first one in the series? Fall of Angels, maybe? Let's see here. Let me just read you this. This first one in the series was Fall of Angels. That was the first Redfire novel. And this one, when it comes to historical mysteries, Barbara Cleverly is a known entity. Her critically acclaimed Joe Sandiland investigations set between India and England have garnered considerable success. And in Fall of Angels, she kicked off a brand new series set in post-World War I Cambridge, featuring Detective John Redfire. And in this second mystery, brings readers back to Cambridge in May of 1924. The upper-class academic set prepares for exams, young couples dance the tango at outdoor May balls, and a wandering vagrant finds himself formally invited to break bread the very same night with there's a college culinary society. He finds that this party consists of 5 academic dons from the nearby St. Bede's College who host a secret monthly dinner club, but unbeknownst to him, this exclusive club rounds out their party of 6 with an unusual and vicious tradition of inviting a grubby commoner to the meal, and murder and mayhem ensue. And I don't know what to expect here, because I don't think I read Fallen Angels. I don't think I read the first one. So and I don't think I read any follow-ups to The Last Kashmiri Rose. So I'll be encountering this author for the first time in a long time, and we shall see. I will dip my toe in and get a feel of it, and then put it on the pile. Unless it grabs me, I'll put it on the pile for the autumn. No, August. Okay, so not that far away. Then this next one is from Berkeley. I believe this is going to be a paperback original, coming up in early July. So I will get to this right away. But I would have got to it right away. Yeah, this is going to be a paperback original, and this comes out in the first week of July. It's by Laura Sullivan. It's her adult novel debut, and it's Milady. I don't know if you can see it make it out in this dodgy light, but it's all for one and all for one woman. And those of you who know, all for one, one for all. If that brings to mind the Three Musketeers, then you'll immediately know who this book is about. This is about Milady de Winter, the villainess of the Three Musketeers. And this is a historical novel that tells her side of the story. From the glittering ballrooms of 17th century England to the dangerous intrigues of the French court, an unlikely heroine emerges, turning on its head everything we've been told about the Three Musketeers and their ultimate rival. I have gone by many names, though you most likely know me as Milady de Winter, villainous, seductress, a secondary player in someone else's tale. It is finally time I tell my own story. The truth is not tidy or convenient, but it is certainly more interesting. So this is a Three Musketeers pastiche fiction, but it goes far, far afield of the novel itself, so I'm all for it. And it's July. I didn't know it was that soon, so I could do that right away. Then this next one, oh God, I've got a little bit of a landslide going on here. This next one is another murder mystery, and it's by an author whose work I know, and I honestly don't know what to expect of this, because this doesn't seem anything like, this seems like a dramatic change of taste. This is by Paige Shelton, and it's called Thin Ice. An absolutely beautiful cover. This Paige Shelton does the Scottish Bookshop Mysteries that some of you may know. I've shown some of them on this channel, which are, they're cozy murder mysteries. They're colorful local characters. The location means a lot. The murder mystery itself is fairly non-gritty, and this is a remarkable change of pace from that. The author takes a bold step away from the cozy world she knows all too well and into a darker, grittier world of mystery. The first in a new series where a woman is filled with fear, escapes to cold, isolated Alaska, and struggles to stay hidden from the dangerous past she's running away from. Beth Rivers is on the run. She's done the only thing she could think of to keep herself safe. Known to the world as thriller author Elizabeth Fairchild, she had become the subject of a fanatic's obsession. After being held in a van for 3 days by her kidnapper, Beth manages to escape, and until he is captured, she's got to get away. When she moves to Alaska, to a tiny town in Alaska, she accidentally signs up for a halfway house and attempts to live there in relative anonymity until her previous captor is brought to justice. But then a murder happens, and she starts to wonder if maybe somehow, against all the odds in the world, her former captor has found her. And that is, to put it mildly, and it sounds like throughout the course of the book she's going to have longer and more detailed flashbacks about those horrible 3 days in the van. And to put it mildly, that is a radical departure from the Scottish Bookshop Mysteries. So I can't wait to see. Unless it really hooks me, and this is a December book. This comes out at the end of the year. So I really can't justify reading the whole thing now, but I will dip a toe in and see. And if it grabs me, then I will keep reading. Otherwise, I would probably let it wait. This next one, the next book is science fiction, and I have already read it. In fact, I've read through it twice, and I'm wrestling with it in all the best ways. I think it might be brilliant. I think it might be tremendously good. So I'm just going to go back and read. It's a collection of short stories. I'm going to go back and read them out of order, spend a little time with them. I'm just going to ruminate around in them. It's a free country. I can go back to a book all I want. This is Exhalation by Ted Chiang. This is his science fiction stories. I've already recommended it on this channel. I think that some of these stories in here are really good, but I'm starting to think that they all are. I'm starting to think this is a totally remarkable book. So I'm going to give it a little more time, a little more attention this weekend. And then there's this thing. This is from Tebbs and Hudson, a familiar thing. This is, I think, out already. What is the date on this? Oh no, this is a September book. Oh my, all right, well that's a little early. Well, it's edited by Peter Furtado, and it's called Great Cities Through Travelers' Eyes. And if you're familiar with secondhand bookstores, if you've seen this kind of thing, you would have seen this kind of thing before. This is familiar, where the editor brings together a roster of 20 or 30 great cities. I checked the table of contents, and Boston is not in here. Lots of other things are: Beijing, Baghdad, Venice, of course, Paris, but not Boston. But that's okay. Chicago is in here. Boston is a greater city than Chicago, but that's all right. But anyway, you know the pattern. The editor will take a roster of those cities and then find classic or little-known travel writing accounts of people who visited those cities and just put them all together. It's always entertaining. I've read 4 or 5 books like this, and they're always entertaining. And they almost always show me something new, some writer that I'm going to want to hunt down for more. So that's on the list as well. And so we've got Great Cities Through Travelers' Eyes, which is a subtitle. I wish they'd called it something else. Then Thin Ice by Paige Shelton, a change of pace murder mystery. Exhalation by Ted Chiang, a collection of science fiction short stories. Milady by Laura Sullivan, a historical novel about Milady de Winter, but a villain. Only now we're going to learn the truth. Then Invitation to Die, a long weekend historical fiction, again from an author who I am familiar with, but not in this series. And that is all that I have to show you, because I'm hunkered down here on the couch. But there is one other thing that I'm going to be reading this weekend. I'm going to be rereading it. It's Karma Alante's new book, Deep River, which is about 19th century logging in the Pacific Northwest. And I read through it at a shot. He's the author of Matterhorn, a great big novel about the Vietnam War. And Matterhorn impressed me. So I read through Deep River fairly fast, and now I have a finished copy. So, and I was reminded of it because our Dark Prince here on BookTube, Adam at Memento Mori, returned with a video today, in which he mentions that his videos are all works of art that he curates, and in his latest installation, he mentions that he's reading Matterhorn and really enjoying it, and that reminded me that I need to hunker down with Deep River and pay it more attention. My first impression of the book was positive, very positive. It's an impressive novel. It's the exact same territory and the exact same time period as Barkskins by Annie Proulx, only with considerably less literary talent. So I don't know quite what I'm going to do about that, and I think that Barkskins is going to get a bump in its paperback sales, because I can't imagine that any book reviewer anywhere in the Western world is going to review Deep River without immediately mentioning it. So, I'm going to try. I'm going to review Deep River myself when it comes out, and I'm going to try not to mention Barkskins myself. But I'm going to read Deep River again this weekend with a little slower, a little more attention to the nuances of what the author's doing. Try and see maybe some differences between the two books. Maybe some strengths that Deep River has that Barkskins doesn't have. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing. You can add that to this pile. But that's all provisional, because a lot of the books that I've shown you already here will have to pull their own weight. If they don't pull me right in, then I'll move on. I'll put them aside. I'll sample them and put them aside until later on, and move on to June books, or maybe even early July books. But plenty of June books that I haven't read. So as usual, on Friday Reads, let me know what you're reading. I'd love to hear it, and I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.